This is Houston, loud and clear. Break, buzz, this is Houston. Radio check and verify TV circuit breaker in. Read 5 clear. And we're getting a picture on the TV.
The hopper. Yeah, the hopper. The hopper. That one DVR lets us record up to 6 shows at once and play them back in any room.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
All right, lead dogs, here we are. We are back. Episode 12 of the Satellites Unlimited podcast. Man, it was just an idea. It seems like yesterday. And then, before you know it, gentlemen, we're at episode 12.
Guys, I got to tell you, you know what? It is such a thrill every podcast to be here with both of you. No scripts, no teleprompter, no cue cards. Well, except for that guy over there. He's holding a cue card up. I don't know. We don't need it. Yep. Thank you. We put that away. These guys and their cue cards. That must be a union thing or something. I don't know. But hey, you know what? It's great to be here, man. What an exciting show we have, huh?
Yeah, we have a jam-packed show. We have 3 different guests per usual. One for SUI trivia. 2 that y'all will be doing interviews with. And one thing that I'm excited about is we're adding 2 new offices to the podcast. And what I mean by that is these are 2 offices that were previously not represented on the podcast ever before. So we have Tyler Mills out of Crestview, FSM down there. Very enthusiastic guy. If you remember when we were highlighting testimonials for employees when we were getting those submissions from our people, Tyler Mills was highlighted twice by 2 new techs down there. So we have Jonathan Garcia out of the Birmingham location. And then we have Jared Aytes from the Chattanooga location, who's an up-and-coming star in the business. And I'm sure we'll dig in. We'll get into it, guys. So with that being said, is there anything new going on? Is there, you guys have anything to share personally or professionally?
Well, we have an ongoing saga at the house. Was it last podcast or the one before? We had a dog issue. I think it may be.
That was the last podcast.
I think it was the last podcast.
Yeah.
Highly recommended that the older dog is not going to change his ways. So you can not teach an old dog, new tricks, right? So we had to make separate arrangements. This past week, we mourned the loss of certain parts of my younger dog. The manly bits are gone.
Yikes.
But the
that doesn't give you the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, we were both in a fetal position in the floor when it got back from the
Y'all
vet.
cry together?
We did. It was I had a really long talk after. Didn't want to. I kind of sprung it on him. You don't want to give him a warning because he might not get in the car to go. But he was a trooper about it.
As much as you can be, right?
Well, it hurts. It really does. But the vet claims that should calm the situation down sufficiently enough for them to coexist. So, that's what's going on in my world. Follow up that, John.
After that story, truly, this is not just another morning meeting. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I feel for the dog, man. Like, I remember bringing my dog. He's he's in between 3 and 4 years right now, Silver Lab, Calvin. And we took him to the vet to have that done. And, I didn't think it would bother me so much, but it did bother me because I could tell that he was visibly in pain. And, he just didn't want to get out of the vehicle. He still had, whatever they drug him up with. I don't know what it is, but he was still kind of coming off of it. Yeah. And I tell you, it was a real challenge going forward after that, getting him out of the vehicle. Whenever I would take him on a road trip or with me somewhere, getting into the vehicle was fine. Getting out, it was almost like he was having flashbacks to that moment in time.
Looking for the vet?
Looking for the vet?
Is this the beach or the vet?
I think he just remembers how it felt getting out of the vehicle, so.
Well, I think I told you guys the last podcast I may have mentioned it. I've got 2 dogs. So one of the dogs is a black lab mix, and we got him in 2018, I believe, right down the road, Humane Society. He'd already had that procedure done, so that was good. We have to go through all that, but it certainly, I think, changes their personality a little bit, but for the better, I believe. So he's a very loving animal. He so has his rambunctious moments, so your dog will be fine.
Yeah, so I have a question though, because I was wondering this when my dog had that procedure done. They left kind of like it's like a piece of skin kind of hanging, right? And so like I didn't know if different veterinarians did things different ways, if that was standard procedure, because I think I've seen dogs in the past that have had that procedure done and they didn't have that, but I could be mistaken.
So so we were supposed to keep the cone of shame on his head. You know what the cone of shame is?
Yeah,
the cone of shame, to keep him from messing with it over a certain period of time. And weren't particularly good with that. He runs into everything when he has it. So we took it off. I noticed that exact same thing, and it kind of freaked me out. So what you noticed, I noticed, and I didn't think it was normal. So I called the vet, and apparently that's a standard procedure. So it's done uniformly across the board.
Gotcha. Well, I tell you what, speaking of pets, we did have a late pet submission. This was submitted out of the Birmingham location, Dustin Kennedy. So, and he actually sent pictures. I think he was so amazed at what he saw in this customer's home. So he put it short and sweet, walked in a customer's home, and there's a baby deer in the home as a pet. He helped with the install. Okay, and then LOL. So I guess he was, joking around that, he had a little help around the job. But John, if you would, let's if you could put those pictures up there to where the camera can see. So there we can see the little spotted deer inside the house, cute as a button,
and apparently knows how to cut and prep a coaxial cable.
Evidently, I wonder. It makes you wonder. Did Dustin, provide any ERP information on
what it
this
is?
helper of his?
He should have, but he probably had him. His sat buddy was out, so he had the deer in there watching the screen as he turned the dish and giving him a heads up.
Oh yeah, hey, and I remember those days too. You remember the days of the 301s and 311s, man. We used to use the signal meter on the TV many times, turn the volume up on the TV. This was before we had the conveniences of using a sat buddy to get satellite signal. You actually had to have the whole system installed before you could get satellite signal. And many times, the meters were so primitive back in the day, it had a little peg, it made a high-pitched noise, and you had to listen very faintly to the noise that meter was making, because that would indicate that you were hitting multiple satellites. Now, our guys, thank God, have the convenience of seeing that on the screen. Okay, I got signal, you got battery pack built into that sat buddy. But back in the day, we had to have power coming from the installed system to power up the type of meters we had. So many times you would go in there and run a check switch, and you'd have one satellite instead of two. You'd have two satellites instead of three. Back outside, back up the ladder, peek it again. And sometimes you would make 3 or 4 trips up the ladder just to get satellite signal. So I don't, sorry to get off on a tangent there, but it just made me think of that when you suggested the deer was helping with line of sight. So there is something that I do want to kind of reference. I know that the question that was sent out was sales, right? Like, what was your biggest sale? What's the biggest sale you had? What's the best solution you provide to customers along those lines? So it really bears mentioning of where we're statistically stack ranked as an RSP within the RSP community. If I'm not mistaken, I can remember starting here in 2005, there was something like 36 regional service providers. Well, now there's like 8 or 9. Right. So it's just survival of the fittest through the years. And there's good news there, right? AC3, NC30, CSAT, fantastic spot.
Yep.
But and to kind of as a testimonial to that, we have a football on the center of the table right here. And what's that for, guys? Which football is that? Because
that says specifically the 2014 Team Summit overall performance.
So that's overall performance. So that means in 2014, we were the #1 ranked regional service provider in the United States.
By a long shot.
And if I'm not mistaken, we had a run of 5 years. Is that dusty,
A
John?
little dusty, but that's okay.
A little dusty. Well, that's not good. We need one in a brand new shiny case, don't we?
I think we do. Yes, it's about time.
I think we should add one for 2022. I mean, if I had,
That's a great idea.
Well, there's
Yes.
there's one thing that was holding us up.
and what is that?
Well, that's the sales component, right? We're
Mhm.
getting it, we're hitting it hard on every single metric for the most part. Connectivity could use some work. I think that's universally true.
It is. Yeah.
But sales is the one thing that up until this point could keep us from that. So we got to fix that.
Yeah, that is, in order for us to achieve the goals to be, where we want to be ranked as a, hey, on our core values, it specifically says on there, we are the lead dog.
Yep.
We haven't been the lead dog for quite some time. So when we think about some of the more recent changes, that have taken place, we really, bonus thresholds and stuff like that had been changed, partnered with the fact that we're striving to be the lead dog in the race. Right now, we're not the lead dog. I don't even know if we're a wheel dog. We haven't been a wheel dog, which these are the steering components in the Iditarod race. We'll get to that
We need a
when we start covering the
I
Iditarod. Continuing with that, line of conversation is, we're an ESOP company, right? And, which reminds me, I didn't put something in the newsletter. I had seen a picture of a lot of stuff thrown into a dumpster, things like, R8 remotes, right? I can't remember how much it is we get for an R8 remote. Is it $12?
It's
15? $14 for an R8 remote. I'm trying to remember what else was in there, but there was a variety of different equipment and things that should never be thrown in there. If you have just one connector, right, one F connector, man, I don't care if it's a quarter or 50 cents, we should fight to preserve, every single cost, protect every single revenue, as business owners, right? As employee stock ownership, program people, right?
It's called being good stewards of company assets.
Yeah, nothing worse than finding, a roll of cable in the dumpster and there's 100 feet on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have enough to do one install or two, maybe three,
depending on where it is.
So I want to see a shiny new football in a shiny new non-dusty case. And you know what? I have complete confidence in our team of people that we have everybody in place to accomplish this. What do you guys think?
We're seeing some definite moves in the right direction in a very short period of time. This month we started out a lot better than we have in a very long time. And it really is just a matter at this point of maintaining consistency and bumping it up just a little bit more. Our goal right now is 36 per work order. And we're heading in that direction. It's simply a matter, consistency is the key when it comes to the sales component of what we do. So if we're consistently approaching customers with thoughtful ideas about what we can do to help them, you're going to get no's. That's, you're going to get them. But you don't get no's or yeses if you don't even try. So
That's right. Nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Yeah.
So
that's a 100% guarantee, right? If the offer doesn't take place, here is what's guaranteed: 0 additional revenue on your paycheck.
And you guys have heard about the 20-80 rule, right? So
20% of the people do 80% of the work.
And I'm not sure if that applies here, but I mean that just gives you an idea, though. If everyone is swimming in the right direction, if everyone is making those offers out there, if everyone is building rapport with their customers, engaging the customers, bringing in the demo bag. We talked yesterday, we did the podcast, the velocity taping yesterday. And, I learned something myself about that, about how simple it was to do the pre-built demo. I mean, just take the time to do these things and you'll reap the benefits and the results.
So, John, are you availing yourself to our technicians to go out and do demos for customers and sound systems?
I just might. You never know.
Oh, great Odin's Raven.
Yeah, but it just speaks to, I can remember first starting here and they advertised this as, you're a business owner. This is before we were ever in ESOP. We weren't in ESOP until 2016.
Right.
We went through that first initial presentation in December of 2016. But when I first hired on, they said, you own the business. Your van is your rolling office. Your customers are your clientele. And we have many folks that approach each and every day with that mentality. And to be honest with you, we've had some guests on the podcast that indicated that this was their approach day in and day out. And they're some of the best in the business.
Yep.
So, I would encourage everybody to approach each day with that owner mentality. If you see something in the dumpster at your office, protect our assets. Let's secure as much revenue as we can. Let's grow it together. Let's collaborate with one another, right? Everybody has a place. Everybody has value here. So we're all in this together because we really break it down quite simply. It's an additional revenue stream if and when we ever decide to retire, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's a great podcast to really explore this because of our podcast question, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of these guys that with these massive sales that we're going to talk about a little bit later did that by chance. It took focused effort, right? Again, I'll go back to consistency. You're not going to hit a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 sell on every customer.
No.
But you never know which customer that is that you are going to hit that. So you have to, again, with consistency is the key. So.
I mean, and even some of the low-hanging fruit, okay? For example, screen cleaner, right?
Mm-hmm.
We still sell screen cleaner. Surge protectors. I mean, these are items that most people, I feel, need in their home. And that should be the easy sells.
Great for glasses.
They are great for glasses, yes.
My glasses. I can afford more glasses.
And one bottle will take you a long time, too, to finish up.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a plethora of solutions. We have something for every customer out there. And at bare minimum, if you do receive that no, as you alluded to, Todd, and by the way, I would counter that if you're receiving no's, you're doing the right thing, right? Collect as many no's as you possibly can. And, but ultimately, gauge your success on not necessarily the end result, but how many seeds are you planting each and every day?
Oh.
And we've heard from some of our folks mention that, right?
We have some really good examples of how that day was a no, and
Yeah.
it came through in the end.
But to your point, take the shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Swing. Might hit.
Yeah,
might
don't
miss.
stand up there
That's
at the
right.
plate and
I mean,
watch that low and outside.
what do they
pitch.
say about home run hitters? That top home run hitters, they're also strikeout artists too, right?
Correct.
Is that true? Right.
I
mean,
mean,
I
In
here's
some
the thing.
cases it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What is a really great batting average?
Yeah. So, if you're batting 300,
You're missing
it's
700.
less than
Yeah.
1 out of 3.
But you got to
So,
swing.
Right.
Swing. You'll never
You
know.
got to take the bat off your shoulder without question.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, man, I almost feel like we should talk a little bit of baseball now. And the Yankees are on a skid, but that's not for this podcast.
Yeah.
That's it's a podcast coming soon to a
We have Birmingham Barons.
listening station near you. Yeah, we have some. When you think about minor league baseball, we got some funky names, especially. Really, when you look just in the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
Biscuits.
Yeah, you got the Montgomery Biscuits, the Trash Pandas in Huntsville.
Trash Man. That's great name.
I don't know that Barons is necessarily intuitive, but
What's the team in? Is it
It's a
Mobile?
Mobile.
What's
Bears, Bay Bears.
Okay.
Bay
Okay.
Bears.
Yeah, Bay Bears.
All right.
But you have I think in that division too, you have the Blue Wahoos.
Yeah.
It's a great name. So
I remember at our Jackson office location, the old one, Flowwood, there was a minor league ballpark.
yeah, Mississippi
next door.
Braves.
There you go.
it's
Yeah.
right next door.
Yeah.
Yeah, the AA affiliate of the Braves.
And they're still there.
Yeah. I always thought that was pretty cool too, like to be that close to the office, catch a,
Yeah.
catch a game. That's pretty cool. So
My wife and I, when we first got married, we lived in Dunedin, Florida, and we were like within walking distance of the Toronto Blue Jays spring training camp. It was so cool.
that is cool.
Yeah.
So I think we were getting carried away talking. I was kind of helping to facilitate that. I think Jonathan has been on here for a little bit. I actually thought that he wasn't. So with that being said, I think we're ready for the.
I think
we're about 5 minutes late on this,
He was
and
enjoying
that's
the
on
show,
me.
so.
I'm the one that has the screen in front of me. So, yeah. So, my apologies. I tell you what. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead. You know, we have Jonathan Garcia out of Birmingham, and we have Todd McClinton for the interview.
Your systems are offline.
Jonathan, are you with us? Just verify.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing? Can y'all hear me?
Doing well. Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Awesome, man.
Hey,
Awesome.
so you know, it's always a pleasure to be able to talk to somebody, but this is a very specific pleasure because this is somebody I get to see pretty frequently because the corporate offices are here in Birmingham and the Birmingham office is here. You know, Jonathan, one of the reasons why we chose you is because of your awesome answer to our question, and we'll of the podcast, and we'll explore that a little bit further in a minute. But it's super important that we let everybody on this podcast know who Jonathan is. He's been with us since 2019. He's bilingual. Está bien.
Yeah.
Great sense of humor. I don't think I've ever seen him without a smile on his face. Grant, have you ever seen him come in and not seen a smile on his face?
Yes, but I worked very closely with him for a very long time. So,
Well, at least externally, I would say I'd never.
but I would say 95% of the time, absolutely.
Super positive attitude. He's again submitted one of the biggest sales and some really entertaining stories that we're going to explore a little further. He's even managed to sell some ADT while he's been out in the field. So, super high performer in the Birmingham office, sales oriented, certainly. And so we're going to get a chance to know a little bit more about Jonathan. So, you ready, Jonathan? I got some questions.
I'm here, man.
Awesome. So before we get into sales and all the things that you've accomplished there, you know, there have been a lot of familial connections here at SUI. A heck of family started it, right? And you definitely have a family connection with SUI, Jonathan. Can you tell us who that is?
Of course. None other than FSM from Birmingham, Ernesto, who is my brother.
So, super important question, and this is a little bit off topic, but what was Ernesto's childhood nickname?
Oh, man. Nesto was a big one.
You gotta have a better one than that.
Oh man, I don't know if I can say it. He'd probably chew me out later.
All right, we'll let you off the hook on that one. But off camera, off tape, you're gonna have to let me know what that is.
For sure.
So, do you think Ernesto played a role in your coming to SUI? Is he the one that brought you into the fold?
Oh yeah, he took a huge role in getting me into this position where I'm at. I could remember when the age changed. I believe it was 21 when you had back in 2019 when you were able to apply, and I think it changed to like the age of 20. And like I just remember him calling me, "Hey man, they just changed it. We got to get you an application. We're gonna get you on. We're gonna get you on." And I was so excited. On the interview with Grant when I first went for my first interview, I even told Grant, I've been wanting to do this. This was my career. This is what I wanted to do. Taking up for my big brother, of course. And he took a huge role in getting me, to work here for SUI.
Yeah. So, did you ever see any of that referral bonus?
Unfortunately, I did not.
Well, we'll need to talk to Ernesto or Nesta about that.
Yeah.
So let's transition over. You submitted some pretty interesting answers to our podcast question. First of all, we're getting more and more participation every week. And we're so grateful that you took the time out of your day to send such an eloquent email response. The first one appears to be a gift that keeps on giving. That's what I would refer to it as, guys. Can you tell us a little bit about that first one that you shared with us?
Yes. So, first, story that I got for you guys is, customer's name is Miss Raquel, as we always call her, Miss Raquel. I remember I went out there for a service call. She had like a Hopper 2, and I think it was like an HDMI issue. It was something very small. And, it turned out she was, she didn't speak no English, and she was just, praising that, she had a Spanish technician out there. And so, we got to, get to know each other, because I don't really run into many Spanish customers. So, we always, oh, where are you from? Where are your parents from? Oh, I'm from over here, there. So we always get to know each other a little bit. And first thing, I noticed we're in the neighborhood on 280. I couldn't pass up not talking about, cameras and, sound systems and things like that. And she mentioned to me that, oh, hey, I don't speak no English. I've never had nobody ever offer me anything like this. What all do you have to offer? And, I was talking about cameras, and, she said she had a house in Mexico, and I told her the prices and all this other stuff. And by all means, she went all out. She wanted to get cameras for her house here, and she even took cameras to Mexico, which Ernesto and I were talking about. I think this is maybe the first ever, customer to get cameras to take back, to Mexico, which I thought was pretty cool. But man, she bought, at the time right then, was about 6 cameras, thermostat, door lock, doorbell, hubs. I still remember, calling the office, freaking out. This was probably my first biggest sale, over 2,000. And Grant was in the background, when he was a general manager here. Oh, we need to get it. Send them a van full of stuff, well, we got this, So I was, outside freaking out, of course, my heart's, thumping. It's my first big sale. And we install everything. I think right then that one cell was like maybe 2,500, 2,600, around there. And we got in touch, everything installed. We did not talk for about a year. And then she calls up and says, hey, I'm moving to Morris. And I was wondering, I'm building a house over there, wondering if we can move all this stuff over there. So I go out there to see, it's been a year. We don't know what all she has. We forgot. And I go out there and I'm like, hey, we offer ADT. I think this would be more useful. Of course, your cameras, all the stuff, we'll move it for you. And she was my first ever ADT customer to ever, get ADT for me. And so we sell her ADT at her new house. We move all her stuff for her. And this house, I don't know if we can get a picture of this house. It's a mansion. Yeah, she's got an escape hatch. Apparently, these newer houses that are so big, you have to have an exit door, but she does not have an exit door. It's an exit window. She has a window, and you have to crawl, go up these stairs to, exit. It's a huge house. And so we sell her more cameras, we sell her the ADT. We found out that, being there, she has no cell service in her house. So, of course, we offer her WeBoost. She gets the biggest package we offer. We install it. It's still ongoing. This was just a couple months ago, about a month or 2 ago, where we set up her ADT, her WeBoost, all her cameras. Of course, she got more cameras and doorbells, and I don't know what all she's bought, but all in all, she has spent maybe about between $7,000 and $9,000, with everything. And as a matter of fact, she called me. I was out of market. I just came back from out of market, I believe, yesterday. And she called me while I was out there in Huntsville. saying that she was wanting more stuff. So I still have to reach out to David to see when we can come back out there to see what we can do for her.
That really is the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? My goodness, we need to give that lady a prize.
It's something like that, man. I mean, ADT, Weavers, everything we mentioned, she's wanting to get, and it would have never have started with me just offering at the first house.
Pretty sure that you're being bilingual helped that situation quite a bit, right?
Of course, she speaks no English. She, with all the times that I've spent over there, she's actually telling me that she's taking English classes, or she's enrolled in English classes a couple weeks ago, and she's just now starting to learn English.
Awesome.
But yeah, it definitely helped that I was Spanish speaking.
Yeah, I need to go talk to that customer too. Get myself a Hughes referral. Not everything else. I mean, all we could give her at this point is Hughes, right? So you sent in a second submission, and it really is based upon something that we often hear the inverse of, right? Oftentimes when we talk about objections and sales, customers have a tendency to use affordability and price as one of the main objections, right? But you ran into a situation recently where you got the opposite. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So this was about like a year ago, maybe as well. I went out there, was an install. If I'm not mistaken, it was a 2-room install. And this older guy, he's about late 60s, early 70s. I forgot his name, but I went out there and saw he, mentioned, hey, I have a house just down the road. If anybody knows where Curry, Alabama is, this isn't the place where you would possibly offer, all this what I'm about to mention. But he tells me he's got another house down the road, just a regular house. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can definitely, set your dish up and get you, TV. So I did that, got my retail for dish, and I go out there and he's got all these TVs just like sitting on the floor, maybe on a table. And I just, I didn't really offer at that other house because I was, excited about my retail at the time. So at this other house, I see all these TVs on the ground, and I'm like, hey, I can hang those up for you. At the time, before the prices changed, it was $180 plus tax. I'm like, he just asked me, how much does it cost to, hang a TV? And I'm like, just for that one TV right there, I can do it for about $180 plus tax. And his response that just killed me was, really? Is that all? At the first one that he told me, I was just like, I don't know if that's a lie. I don't know if I need to like bargain with this guy.
Right.
so he gets that one, and of course I don't just stop at that one. I'm really good. I just keep adding things, and so I talk about the other two getting hung, and at this time, these are some bigger TVs. I again called my brother Ernesto. He was at my FSM at the time. He was like, hey, I need some help hanging some TVs. Luckily enough, he was in the area, and he swung by and grabbed some mounts. I think I was running low on mounts, and he's there. I'm talking to this guy, and we hang his other two TVs. We see some cords hanging. Hey, we can hide those cables for you, make it look all nice and neat. And he's like, well, how much is that? And I'm like, $90 per TV. And he's like, really? Is that all? And at this point, I'm just like, I don't know what that really means, but we'll go for it. And it's just him being an older guy and talking kind of old, as really, is that all?
Hey, wait. I'm gonna have to.
30. I think he's what he's.
My goodness, you realize you're talking to a bunch of old dudes, right?
No. Y'all are pretty young. Y'all are about in your 30s. This guy's pretty old, like late 70s, maybe.
Really? Is that all? Hey, thank you so much again for your submissions. Always have one last question. I love a little screwball question. So, all right, picture this. An asteroid is about to hit the Earth in 24 hours. Nobody knows but you. you're not able to tell anybody. Where do you go to eat your last meal?
Where do I go to eat my last meal?
And what do you order when you get there?
I'm gonna roll up to Walmart, go to the noodle section. I'm gonna give you my yellow packet of. Hold on, man. I'm gonna get my yellow packet of creamy chicken ramen noodles, man. Have you ever had those? Those are the best. So we'll go back home.
You kill me. I'm looking for suggestions of where to go eat, and you say Walmart.
I'm thinking we're gonna say like Ruth's Chris,
Yeah, no doubt. Like,
Order a steak.
you
Come on.
know.
I mean, the dude sells just in 2 stories $12,000 worth of stuff, and he's eating ramen.
Yeah.
You should have seen my meals for out of market, man. It was just ramen. All jokes aside, no. All jokes aside, I would go probably to Texas de Brazil. I've ate there a couple times.
Great
Okay.
choice.
Come on, give me something to work with. Here.
There you go.
Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to see you and talk to you. Look forward to seeing you again here in Birmingham pretty soon.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure. All right.
Awesome. Thanks so much, brother.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you and everything you do.
Yes, sir. Y'all take it easy, okay?
You too, man. Take care.
All right.
Jumper systems are offline.
All right. Well, I tell you what, because I primitively dropped the ball early on based off of, I guess, I don't know. I may have been distracted, in some of our conversation, but we're going to get caught up in a hurry, guys. We had Mr. Garcia. We're moving right on to a little bit of SUI trivia.
Oh, my
Oh,
favorite.
boy. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. So one of our favorite segments, because, hey, this is our opportunity. The other guests just, they get a few questions thrown their way. But with SUI trivia, playing for a hat, man.
Yeah,
We are
there's some skin in
Legitimately
the game.
playing for a hat, man.
And who is the contestant?
Oh,
We have Crestview's Tyler Mills.
Oh, very good.
Crestview's Tyler. We never had anybody from Crestview on the program. So I'm super pumped.
All right. How y'all
Doing all right, brother?
Yes, sir. Hey, if I lose this trivia, right, can I at least get a consolation prize, maybe like a dunce cap or something like that?
Like what is that? Is that Dick's Last Resort to where
what is it?
you get the dunce caps and they write crazy stuff on it?
The consolation prize. What is it? Is it ABT pens? No.
Oh,
What
yeah.
pens
Poke pen.
Poke pens.
Yeah, poke pen.
We'll say
Yeah.
poke pen.
Yeah, it's a consolation
We have
prize.
poke pens, huh?
We have poke pens. Yes, you're more than welcome to have one. Poke generously gave us 30 of those for leading the country in poke sales over the past 3 months. And so, hey, we're working on increasing that budget. They didn't have a budget for some of this stuff. We put that thought out there that, hey, our guys are out there in the field killing it. We need some swag. So we started off with pens. I'm having grand visions of going to Poke headquarters in San Diego, California, possibly for a trip to where the best and very brightest in our industry from Satellites Unlimited are there to get a tour, and they get feedback from our people. That's what we're working towards, Ryan Merriman. All right, Tyler, let's not worry about that constellation prize.
Yep. Got my mind on winning. Let's go.
That's it, brother. That's it. Now, hey, college football is right around the corner, man. Do you have a favorite team, dude?
Me? No. I mean, college football, yeah, kind of my default is Florida State. I'm not a super sports guy. I do love doing it, social events, with people who really enjoy it. I like being there in the party. You know what I mean?
I got you, brother. I got you. No, I will tell you this, that if you're not a sports fan, like I'm a huge sports fan, but kudos to you. Your life is a lot less stressful, my friend. You know what I mean? There's way more important things to worry about than the pandemonium, that the circus, if you will, surrounding sports.
Craze.
Yeah. So with that being said, what do you like doing in your spare time, man?
Oh man, I enjoy reading. I'm kind of You know, at work, I'm so much of an extrovert, I guess. Really, I like just peaceful things, reading, you know what I mean? Studying, watching Netflix. But I also do like going outdoors, kayaking. It's really fun to me. Crab Island's right up or you know, right down south from me. I'll try to redfish on my kayak. That's pretty fun.
Okay, cool. Crab Island.
Yep.
So does it live up to the name?
Oh man, it's awesome. Yeah, it definitely does. And yeah, world's luckiest fishing village. Kind of, you know, grew up around there my whole life. So,
dude, I'll be honest. What you just described sounds like a dream come true to me.
it is.
Give me a good book and a hammock on Crab Island, and I'm set for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, you know, I know you tugged at Todd's heartstring. He's a very avid reader. I think really all of us at this table are, you know, we that is something that we all enjoy. So, well, I tell you what, man. Well, you know, and you know, did want to go ahead and outline too. Kudos to you for the leadership that you're providing down to the folks down there in Crestview. We know we got the sense that those guys down there really and truly appreciate the leadership that you bring to the table, your mentorship, you know, just serving as that compass as they navigate through their early careers down there. So we appreciate you, brother. We'll have to go catch a sandwich again. I need to get out of this office at some point and go visit some locations. I'd love nothing more than to come visit you and the Crestview squad.
All right.
So, well, I tell you what, man, with that being said, let's get to our first question, my man.
So is it just everything dish related topics or technical topics?
It is I like where you're going. You're feeling out for some information before we begin. Like you're laying out the terms, Mr. Mills. Very, very good. Yeah, so it'll be definitely all Satellite Unlimited related. Not all of it will be dish related because we do ask there are some questions that, you know, maybe would indicate something that we had previously said on a podcast or something like that. But all right, here we go, Mr. Mills, for the podcast hat. And by the way, nobody's gotten all 5 questions correct yet, guys. So I have a feeling Tyler could be the one. I heard before he came on the show, somebody told me that he was gonna own this trivia. He was the trivia messiah. All right. All right, buddy. All right. First question. How do you put a poke sound system into demo mode?
The home button and volume plus. Volume up, I think it is.
Volume up and what other button? I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, the TV button and volume up.
TV button and volume up. That is absolutely correct. So ring that buzzer.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
For some reason, the home button is the TV button for me. Sorry.
All right. No, you're good. You've moved on to question number 2. We've got those early jitters out of the way. Every full Poke sound system needs this piece of plug-in equipment to function. What is it? That is absolutely correct. Ring that buzzer again. All right. 2 down, Mr. Mills. All right. We're going to get harder as we go, bud. All right. Man, there's so many different directions I can go. I just have a list of questions here. Tier 3 questions.
Tier 3 has traditionally been the hardest.
Yeah, Tier 3, we've had Tier 3. It's posed some challenges. Okay. How many years does it take to be fully vested?
3 years.
ESOP? Dang, you answered before the question came. Give him a double swing, boing, boing buzzer there. That was good, Mr. Mills. it reminded me of either Groundhog Day with Bill Murray when he's announcing the Jeopardy answers.
Lakes and rivers for 1,000.
Milky colored from glacial clay when entering Lake Geneva, this river is clear blue upon exiting. Jim?
What is the Rhone?
The Rhone, good for $1,000.
Or, of course, Rain Man from the late 1980s. All right, so let's go to Tier 4. All right, Tier 4 question, Mr. Mills. You're knocking it out, brother. You're knocking this out. Okay, I got one for you. What is the Joule rating on a GE Surge Pro?
32. It's 32. I think it's 3250. Let's see.
What do you got, guys? No, it's 3540.
3540. I'm sorry.
3540. You were in the 3,000 range.
Yeah.
You're right there.
That's a hard one.
All right. So here's what we're going to do, man. Now, we're not done yet, Mr. Mills.
Nope.
Because usually what we do, even if somebody gets the question incorrect early on, we're just going to keep on asking questions, young man.
Okay. Let's get it.
So there would be one more question we would ask normally, because it would be 5 questions here.
Tier 5.
All right. In episode 10 of the podcast, we played commercials that our longest tenured technician, Shanka Bridges, was featured in. What types of commercials were these?
Oh, man, I missed episode 10. I'm sorry.
Take a guess. We talked about statistical facts. If you don't offer, you're guaranteed 0 additional revenue. Well, if you don't take a guess, just throw something out there, man. I don't care if you say toaster. It's not toaster.
It's not toaster, by the way.
But anything is better than nothing, my friend.
Think
All
about
right, say the question again.
In episode 10 of the podcast, we played commercials that our longest tenured technician, Shanka Bridges, was featured in. What types of commercials were these?
What business?
Yeah, what type of business was it that he was promoting? Just imagine yourself, you're listening to the radio, you're riding in the car, listening to the radio, and you hear these types of commercials come on as you're riding in the car.
Driving down the road.
Was it something with repair, man? I'm not sure. I don't
Oh man, I was trying to throw you a bone, brother. Riding in the car. They were car commercials.
A car dealership, man.
Yes, car dealership commercials. My man, Shanka Bridges.
Great commercials too.
Oh yeah.
That was really my first thought. I should have went with it. Should have went with my gut.
Well, I tell you what, it's still not over, my friend.
It's not over.
Because you know what? We got a panel of judges here to discuss your performance today, to make an ultimate determination at your faith in the Satellites Unlimited trivia.
You want me to start, John P?
Go right ahead.
Well, I think back to an episode or two ago when we talked about who inspired you, right? Tyler got a couple of really good responses, right? Like, there are a lot of people in that office that truly respect and value him. Really think that deserves a hat.
Yeah.
And I would concur with that, yes.
All right. So Todd made the point that you received some submissions from some of your team members down there that truly respect your leadership, man. So we're going to send you a hat out in the mail on Monday, brother.
All right. Well,
you will have an email sent to you in exactly 41 minutes. It's already scheduled, my friend. And for size and the color. Tyler.
Yes, sir.
Keep on doing what you do, man. Continue to be the good ambassador you are. We appreciate you taking the time today to come on here with us and have a little bit of fun. We hope you had a good time.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, big man. Well, Make sure in your off time this coming week, grab a good book, do a little bit of kayaking, do the things that you enjoy. If I can give any advice to anybody out there, do the things you enjoy now, because nothing is ever promised tomorrow. So, Tyler, thanks for sharing yourself with us, brother. Have a great day. All right, man?
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Bye.
Thank you, bud.
Hey, Satellites Unlimited employees, are you looking to make quick and easy money? If the answer is yes, then we have the deal for you. Here at Satellites Unlimited, you can earn money for every person you refer to work with us. All you need to do is have your candidate go to www.suidish.com and use your name when applying, and we will do the rest. It's quick and easy. We're an employee-owned company and want to welcome your referral into the family. So what are you waiting for? Start referring people today.
You're listening to the Satellites Unlimited podcast. Now, back to the show.
All right, man. I tell you what, we are, again, this is more of a credit to me losing track of time early on, but we're knocking them out, and I'm feeling good about where we're at. We've caught up a little bit. You ever do that anybody in here, do you ever try to you have a GPS time? Do you ever, not in a company vehicle, of course.
Personal vehicle, try to beat the time?
Try to beat the time, like improve your time.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes.
We're all honest with one another here.
Never in a company vehicle, though.
Never in a company vehicle.
I find myself doing weird.
Although you can do it in a company vehicle if you just find a detour or circumvent the actual obstacle or obstruction that's posing the challenge.
But even in a personal vehicle, I do not speed. So
yeah, good for you, man.
I believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
Years ago, I used to, but it's another story. Another time.
Another podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, hey, we have another guest. This is back-to-back guest of an office that has not previously been represented on the podcast. We have our first any team member from Chattanooga on. We have Mr. Jared Aytes. And so with that, John P. is going to do the interview.
Jumper systems are offline.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are so pleased to welcome Jared Yates out of Chattanooga to the show. And Jared, how are you today, my friend?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. So you started with us on February the 7th of this year. And tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would, please.
Well, I had start off, I did construction for about 5 years before joining SUI. So that's a good background history for it. I've always been intrigued in technology and stuff like that. So, I got a baby on the way next week. Unlimited? Do what?
How did you hear about Satellites Unlimited?
Honestly, I seen it on a Facebook ad for a technician. Honestly, I don't know. It was kind of weird, and then I seen it on Indeed, and it was kind of like it was calling my name or something. I don't know.
So I see also that since you joined us in February, you really have achieved a plethora of success in on-site sales, even winning a Yeti cooler in the May Mystery Motherload competition. So, to what do you attribute your stellar performance?
I pretty much just trying to help every customer, and that you go to just takes you a really long way. And I honestly didn't even know much about that May trivia. I just, every house I went to, I just tried, servicing them as good as I possibly could, and it just ended up being, I ended up winning something. So it was a plus, but it wasn't, my motivation to provide the best customer service for them.
So let me ask you a question, Jared. I mean, did your sales expertise just come naturally to you? I know you had to go through the sales science training with us here at Satellites Unlimited, and you probably had other support as well, but is this just an area that you're very comfortable in?
Honestly, I don't see our technicians or anything as salesmen. I like talking to people, and I like seeing what they need for their home to improve their home, to make their life easier, better. I never go into a house as a salesman. I just try to make their home life a lot better, cameras, anything like that, sound system if you can't hear, I mean, just different things for different people. Every customer has something that they need. It's just our job to find out what it is.
So it sounds like you are truly taking the approach of a solutions expert and not going out there trying to sell a customer a bunch of items that they don't need. You're looking for the products and services that will best fit their needs.
Absolutely, yeah. I just, you can't sleep at night just giving something to someone that they don't need, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
every customer needs something.
Absolutely. That's a great approach and a great philosophy, Jared. And I saw that also you submitted something to us for the podcast question, your biggest sale. And rather than me reading it, why don't you go ahead and tell us all about it, please?
See, my biggest sale, I was doing I think it was a mover, and they just moved to the area. I forgot where they was from, but they said that there was a kind of a bad area down there. They just want to get out of the place. And so upon moving, I tried, doing my dish thing first. I got them a little upgrade, stuff like that to improve their home experience. And then started talking a little bit about, cameras and stuff. And I left them my ADT card while I went outside and worked, let them look over it a little bit. And they said, it's just a little too expensive. So we started talking about the cameras and stuff like that, help home security, since I was kind of scared about, where they used to live. That way, the new area, they always got the, pictures and videos to see everybody, make them feel safer in their home. Started talking about it, and they ended up wanting a lot of cameras. Upon setting those up, I ended up putting a Polk audio system in there. I said, hey, while I'm working, let me just listen to a little music. We got a pretty good little while, putting this stuff in. So we listened to music for a little while, put on what they like. I was doing dish. I was putting cameras up. I was, then at the end of the day, we just ended up talking about the Polk audio system too. I told them a price with it, and they loved it. They ended up getting, I think, 2 or 3 cameras, doorbell, a home hub, a Wi-Fi point router to give better signal to those, and the Polk audio system. So it was a plus. Got a surge protector for them, or a couple of them, to, plug all their cameras up to the surge protector. That way, if anything ever happens, they're covered in that basis.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jared, you're certainly somebody that you sound like a fine young man, a perfect gentleman out there. You have a very pleasant, mild demeanor. I can understand why you are so successful with on-site sales. I got to tell you, though, the first time I heard about your name was on the HughesNet retail side of the business. And I think I started seeing you sending in leads and generating sales sometime around June, July. And that's how I got to know who Jared Aytes was out of Chattanooga. Kind of tell me, what is your approach with generating HughesNet leads?
HughesNet is down here and, the Chattanooga area, man, it is a huge opportunity. A lot of our customers down here do not have the capabilities of any internet. HughesNet is the number one solution for them. They can't make, many houses we go to, we can't make phone calls. We can't get on our, we can't activate equipment. We can't do anything. They have no internet whatsoever, no ways of getting internet. 90% of the customers I talk to say they've been waiting on, the cable to be run down the road for 5 years. And, so we offer them solutions of HughesNet, and I've really never had a customer complain on it. That's the best solution for them. And, like I said, you try to go into the home and make their life better in their home solutions.
Well, that certainly makes sense, because Chattanooga's been on fire as of late with HughesNet retail referral sales. And Jared, you're one of the young men that's making it happen in the Chattanooga office. So listen, thank you so much for being on the show today, and continued long-term success here at Satellites Unlimited.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Your systems are offline.
Wow, I tell you what, man, what an absolute, gauntlet of guests. And so we've had, everybody from techs to FSMs. We've had, somebody like, Jared that, hasn't been here a tremendously long time. I would even argue, Mr. Garcia hasn't been here, a long time either. But they've had a bilingual tech on. And one thing that I thought was an important takeaway with the Garcia interview was how many of our Latino folks out there, all the Latino communities we service, Dish is probably the number one provider based off of the programming that we can provide versus, other direct competitors. How many opportunities are missed, because we just don't even attempt to, maybe make an offer or extinguish that communication barrier.
Right.
I can get around with a little bit of Spanish. Like I can take directions over the phone and stuff like that. But even at households to where there was a definitive communication barrier, you could still find a way to kind of communicate, pointing, this is now we have Google Translate, right? When I was in the field, that wasn't a tool that we had. I don't know how many bilingual techs we have. I know down in Ocala, there's probably a good bit. Is that?
I think, not sure if every office has somebody that's bilingual, but they have they certainly could have access to somebody that's bilingual. Sales can, I think we overcomplicate things sometimes, right? Because you literally have a demo bag. And so with regard to, and numbers are universal. You have a demo bag, you can show the product with specific features and benefits. That may be a little more, difficult, but a vast number of people, if they're not native English speaking people, have a method by which they communicate. You have to just approach the subject. And oftentimes they'll give you the solution, the communication solution, right?
Yeah.
But again, we talk about if you don't swing, you don't hit. If we discount those customers immediately on the front end,
that's right.
You know what? Let me ask you this: a soundbar demo,
universal, baby.
That's universal. You don't have to say much. They feel that, right?
That's right.
And you let them listen, listen to whatever channel or music that they want to listen to. It's, that's a pretty powerful thing. And a lot of our products don't require a tremendous amount of explanation behind them.
But you have to bring the demo bag into the customer's home to pique the interest.
Yeah. And, it's funny when you say they can feel it. So I'm thinking back out in the field. So I worked a lot in Talladega County. All right. That's where I live. And there is the Institute for the Deaf and the Blind down there. So there's that entire community, that entire area. It's littered with folks that are either deaf or blind,
right?
And in some cases, both. And interesting fact, never received a 12-day trouble call behind any of those folks, by the way. And you have to do things a little bit differently to accommodate their condition, right? So, with somebody that is, that may be blind, you would literally take their hand and touch each button on the remote and explain.
Yep.
And, I don't know if it's one of those things that to where the rest of the senses are kind of heightened because they have that specific disability. But I mean, you could show them one time and they had it. But when you talk about the power of a demo, about, feeling it, I mean, I would say, I even if you were deaf, you could still feel that vibration in your body, right?
I mean, absolutely. Don't prejudge a customer because of a special need or a language barrier. I mean, still go through your presentation, still bring in the products and services, still do the demo, do all the things you would do with any customer.
I would go as far as saying you're actually doing them a disservice if you don't.
Absolutely are.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. You absolutely are.
You
and we saw some of this even prior to like sales, like with I can remember when the Hopper came out. Well, I would hear some folks say, well, you know, they're older, they don't need a hopper. Who are you? I mean, I've been to customers' homes to where you're probably spot on. It's probably outside their comfort zone, but it warrants a conversation with them first and foremost, because there's many tech savvy, you know, folks that are older. But I always used to approach it with, you know, telling them about the DVR, and if this is something that they wanted, you know, there is an additional fee per month, and walk through those things just to make sure before we completed that work order. But I would hear things about kind of pre-qualifying these folks and just, you know, modifying the work order without a conversation, a tremendous disservice.
Well, yeah. Don't want to go too far in the weeds right now, but my very first job as a technician on my own, that was never conveyed to me, right? And so it's easy to make a judgment for a customer if you're not, especially if somebody tells you that that's kind of a not, you don't want to do that, right? And so my very first customer as a technician, and again, training was quite different back then. I get to the house, it's a 3-room install. And he's an older gentleman. I think it was 222, 211 install. It was VIP equipment, no DVR. And I go and I do the site survey in the house, and the guy's got one like 15-inch tube TV. That was it in the living room. And without knowing any better, I made an assessment about his needs, without even having a conversation with them. And I'm like, well, you know, you have a television here. Why do you need 3 rooms? He didn't know, right? And so I actually did the worst thing you could possibly do. I called Dish and modified the work order down to a 1-room with a 211. Come to find out, 2 or 3 weeks later, there's an upgrade for 2 additional rooms. He didn't even order it. His daughter had ordered it because they were moving in.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even have a conversation, an informative conversation with that guy, because he wasn't even involved in that ordering process.
Right.
And so again, making assumptions about somebody else's situation
can
get you into a lot of trouble. Well, not trouble, but
sure.
It's certainly, I got paid less to do the job. We ended up having to roll back out to do an upgrade on something that should have been done the first time it was there. All because I made some assumptions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then sales is the same way, right? It's, you make assumptions. You know, it's amazing where you may go into a house you never thought you'd sell a thing. I don't want, again, too far in the weeds, but this is a true story. So we had a technician go out to a customer's house who's had just had a technician out to the neighbor's house. They were really close. The 2 neighbors were very close. This lady and her neighbor were extremely close. And apparently they had talked. And whoever came to the first lady's house did a really good job of showing them everything, going through soundbar demos and all that. The second person that went to this lady's house didn't offer anything. And he's getting ready to go. And she says, hey, you know, the guy that went to my neighbor's house offered all kinds of stuff. And she told me about this soundbar that he offered. Sure would like to see that. He was planning on never, he sold a sound bar, but the customer's the one that had to pull it out of him.
Yeah.
Right. He made an assumption about what that customer that could have easily been.
It's all about communication, right?
It is.
And communication is imperative in our business. And for the most part, I mean, there is a lot to communicate that our guys are having to deal with on a daily basis. And overall, I would say great job. But, you know, to your point, Todd, and I would say probably all of us at this table have, in some way, shape, or form, in different facets in life, made assumptions, and it came back to backfire on us. So, you know, hey, we're trying to, you know, facilitate this on the front end to our folks. You know, don't make those assumptions. Well, I tell you what, guys, we had about, I want to say, 12 submissions. We've already covered a couple, and so that leaves 10 left for some folks that made a submission on what their biggest sale was. So I'm going to give you guys the floor. It looks like you guys have them pretty split up. So we want to just, give the shout out to our peeps out there that sent in this.
It's time for Technician Stories from the Field.
And I literally had her running out the door as I'm driving away. And I got to give her credit. She kept up for a good while and at least ran a block and a half.
So I would say age or beauty first. And
I'm getting word though from our producer Floyd Lawson that we've got to do some business real quick. We have some sponsors now. I understand.
Wait,
we have two sponsors. Yeah. So Floyd Lawson is our producer. Yeah. So
Monster didn't come.
First of all, we have Deer Park water. Oh, Deer Park, that's good water. And also Velveeta breakfast biscuits. Velveeta
breakfast biscuits. That's
a lot to say.
Very different to say. Velveeta breast. That is hard to say.
Yes. Energize your day with Velveeta breakfast biscuits. Delicious. All right, got that out of the way.
Hey, that is great. I had no idea that
we were
that we actually have.
I didn't know either until Floyd Lawson told me in my ear. So I guess that's what we have these items down here. So that was a snack for me later on, but I guess not.
It's got some fiber in there. You die.
It does, and it goes great with coffee as well. I might add. Oh wait a minute, hold on.
Softens up that biscuit.
Yeah. It really does. Quite delicious indeed.
Do you dunk?
I'm a dunker. Yes.
Are you?
I'm a dunker. Yeah.
How about you? Are you a dunker, Todd?
I'll eat it and then take a sip of coffee. It just kind of mixes.
So not really a dunker.
No, I'm not a dunker.
You guys know Michael Leonard had some delicious donuts.
Oh my gosh! Are you kidding me?
And I resisted.
Oh, me too. So hard.
Good. Oh.
And then the crazy thing was he walked around several times with the donuts, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I wish there'd be more volunteers for these things to kind of go away. And I walk back into the break room right there, and there's like this one
apple.
And just like Jared said that Satellites Unlimited was calling out to him in an ad, he felt like it was fake. There was a premonition there. I saw it, and I'll tell you, it looked like an apple fritter.
It's an apple fritter.
If you've ever had a fresh apple fritter, those are hard to beat. I just had one not too long ago in Monroe, picking up that team some breakfast, and man, I resisted the temptation. So how do you resist that temptation? What do you have a sweet tooth, John?
Do I? Oh my gosh, yeah. So I drink a lot of what's called Rockin' Protein. Maybe it'll be a sponsor for us too next time. Rockin' Protein. 30 grams of protein, 6 grams of sugar. Delicious. The best protein drink I've ever had, without a doubt. So,
from a man that's had plenty of protein shakes.
Yes, I have. So that helps to kind of curb those cravings for the sweets and things of that nature. But it was tempting though when I saw those donuts this morning. I gotta admit.
You got a sweet tooth?
Yeah, I can. Like, did you keep talking about that apple fritter? You used to report to Albertville, is that correct? Not Albertville, but
yeah, Tal at the
Catherine's. Is it Catherine's?
Yeah, Catherine's. Yeah.
They have. Have you ever eaten that?
I have.
Have you ever been there?
Yes.
They have an apple fritter covered with caramel.
Ah. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
For as long as I went to that office, everybody talked about it.
So did it taste like kind of like what you'd get at the fair, like a caramel apple?
It was. Now you're going to go into what is it? Diabetic shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is. You have that regular glazed.
Yeah.
Apple fritter, and then they put this caramel glaze on top of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like a caramel apple, right? But it's oh my goodness.
There's another place you guys may know this place. It's going down 280 through Harpersville and in towards Montgomery. We had to go years ago. Cortez, John Sims, myself, we had to go pick up some vans in Montgomery. And we drove past this place. John Sims knew of it, so we stopped there. It's like a little hole in the wall. I can't think of the name of the place, but oh my gosh, the best donuts in this place. Absolutely delicious.
Man, I wish we knew the name because
I wish I did too. Yeah,
we could provide a plug, and who knows, they could be a sponsor
another
for
sponsor. Yes,
episode
indeed.
13.
Yeah.
Hey,
We need to find out this
We
donut
do.
place
Yeah.
in Harpersville.
well,
It's like a little hole in
and
the
I
wall,
could
but it's
definitely
delicious.
go to Catherine's.
Yeah. And you got Shipley's here in Birmingham. I think there's a Shipley's in
they're
Hattiesburg.
good too. Yeah.
But
Shipley's is everywhere. There's one in Tupelo too.
is it? Okay. Well, all right, guys, let's hammer out some of these submissions from our folks, and then we're gonna put a nice big red bow on this thing, but not without giving our folks a little bit of recognition.
So who can we go first?
I think that would be a great.
That's fine.
idea.
Okay, so the first one we have is from Evan Elliott out of Albertville. Evan Elliott, of course, doing a great job for us on the retail side with HughesNet, but also a superstar on on-site sales. So I'm going to put the glasses on for this one here. So customer named Alexandria, from when he first started, he sold her roughly $4,800 worth of products. Ended up selling her 2 doorbells, 5 IQ cams, 1 full sound system, 1 sound bar, 4 Yale locks, and a thermostat. It took 3 days to install all of it, and I even needed help from other techs. Definitely a big sale and a great learning experience for me as well. Outstanding job, Evan Elliott. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll move to the Meridian office. It's hard to read. John, you wrote this.
Was that from the donut conversation? Like a little.
Okay, I have
Dunkin'
bad
Donuts?
handwriting, all right? Just say it.
It's the handwriting.
My handwriting's horrible.
That is an avian.
Yeah.
I thought the donut holes were the munchkins, weren't they? Yeah, never mind.
Can you read this?
I'm sorry.
Can you read that?
The Mad Hattiesburg. Yeah. So, Casey Woods out of Meridian. I wish I had this in this format because this is a lot of stuff. 5 large tilt mounts, 3 small full motion, 8 Jupiter HDMI cables, 2 pulp bars, 1 full pump system, 3 10x2 surges, plus a move. That is, how do you get all that in this truck? That's a good question, right? It was over $5,000, all with installs. Took about 6 hours from start to finish to get all of the TVs hung and get everything done. He expects to go back again for some Nest products next week. So
Awesome.
maybe he's doing it. I think he submitted this last week, so he's probably there doing Nest. Hey, Casey.
Could be there today.
Hope that Nest is going well.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, who's next?
All right, so we have next up from Hattiesburg, Mr. James Ramsey. States that his biggest sales have been the Polk sound system. He sold 3 systems since starting with Satellites Unlimited, and he's trying to get better at it. So that's great to hear because those soundbar sales certainly can boost up your on-site sales revenue without question.
Absolutely.
They can. So Wilford Graham in Meridian as well. He sold 4 battery cameras and a battery doorbell to a guy in Thomasville, which quite surprising they had internet there. Just kidding, Thomasville. Don't come at me. It was his very first Nest job. He didn't have any idea how anything worked, but he did know how to explain it well enough to a customer to sell it to him. But he followed the steps. He got a good workflow going, and he installed one after the other. The guy was so impressed that he bought a 5th camera from him later on. So again, I think we're going to see a theme here where, we go back to Mr. Garcia. One sale sometimes begat other sales.
Yeah.
He also sold his second biggest was when he sold a full Polk to a lady and her neighbor. Called saying she wanted one of them too. So he sold 2 Polk full systems in 2 days. So good job,
great.
Wilfred. Thank you for your help, and thanks for being a lead tech.
So this next one is from a longtime veteran here at Satellites Unlimited, Mr. Edward Jordan out of Grenada. I believe Edward started with us back in 2005. I'm going by memory here, so I haven't written down anywhere. But
yeah, it would have been close to that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 2005. So, and guys, we talked about the importance of a demo, right? So this is a great testimonial for why demos work. So Edward sold 4 cameras. He said it was a pretty easy process because he showed the customer how the cameras worked from his phone. And that was it. At that point, he said the customer was very interested. So just like that, bam.
Yep.
It's just as powerful as a poke demo when
Demos
you can pull up those cameras
Yeah.
on your phone, show them what it actually looks like.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, this is an interesting, I'm glad we're talking about sales because this is a really interesting idea as well, especially for all you technicians that might, you're going to benefit from hearing this. And thanks Jacob Woodham out of Crestview with this feedback. And I want to highlight his biggest sale was nearly $3,000. But he says in his email that almost all my larger sales have come from easy TCs, which is pretty insightful, right? In other words, you get there and it's a trouble call and the solution is pretty simple. It's on the wrong input or something. That frees you up, right? That gives you a certain amount of time and liberty to start really discussing things and what could have caused the problem. A simple L&B swap, it immediately leads to sales talk. And one of these instances led to the big sale where he sold 3 cams, 2 thermostats, and a hub. So good job, Jacob. Thank you for the submission.
All right, so next up we have Mr. Jason Pruitt out of the Jackson office. And Jason states his biggest sale has been a Polk sound system and 2 remote skins. So I'm hearing a common theme here with the Polk sound system, but it's nice to also see somebody referencing the remote skins because I think that's something, that's that low-hanging fruit, right? Think about it, guys. I mean, in your house, you probably have more than one TV, right? You know, remote controls, they all look alike. And I know I bought my remote skins years ago from Mr. Monfrey Perry out of Albertville at the time, I believe. And Monfrey, for watching us, please come back. We need you, my friend, okay? So come back. But I bought 3 remote skins, so 1 for the living room, 1 for the our master bedroom, my wife and myself, and then 1 for my daughter's room. And this way it helped not only because of the fact that I'm a clumsy guy, I drop remote controls a lot in my house on hardwood floors. It protects cushions and prevents any damage to that remote control, but also the fact because my wife has a tendency to walk around with a remote control going from room to room, and then they get confused. So knowing that they're color coded, I can make sure that every remote control matches the room that it's supposed to be in. So that's why I love the remote skins.
Fan of the term skins or socks?
Socks?
Yeah, we have
skins. I like remote skins.
Some locations actually
They
call them
socks.
socks.
Really?
Yeah,
I like
remote
skins.
socks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a skin guy
Yeah.
myself. Remote sock sounds weird.
I know,
I want to say there was some other term I heard too.
It's kind of like soda.
Oh, there's a windsock for like a microphone cover. They call it windsock. But
Yeah. I was just thinking I was thinking I
I thought
heard
wind
this.
sock was the thing up on top of a pole that told you which direction the wind was going.
okay, that too then, I guess. So.
Is that what that
There were a wide variety of windsocks.
But more of a fan of the term skin,
sock?
which is I
weird.
think the dish advertised.
We're coming off the rails here, guys.
Skin sock.
Anyway,
It's creepy. What's that movie where he wears the skin? Anyway.
Leatherface?
Yeah.
Anyway, Jason Pruitt out of Jackson, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Anthony Valentino.
All
My
right,
God.
hey.
Yeah.
Just came back with us not
Is
too
that
long ago.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back, Anthony.
Welcome.
Hey.
Biggest sale was around $2,000. Customer, it was all Nest oriented, and this has to be IQ cams because he sold 4 outdoor cameras and a bunch of Velop routers. Well, no, $2,000. Velop routers is pretty expensive.
Yeah, definitely.
So maybe non-IQ cams. So good job, Mr. Valentino. Pleasure to hear from you. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Guess what? I'm out.
You're out.
Yes. No quantity remaining for me. Oh, you gave me
Look
one.
at that.
Oh, look at that. How nice of you. You're sharing your biggest sale testimonials with me. Isn't that nice? Let's see. So this count. Okay, great. I love this one. Because you know who this came from?
Who?
One of the biggest fans of this show, Aaron Caldwell out of Baton Rouge. Always a great contributor to the program. Thank you so much, Aaron.
Aaron has sent more submissions than anybody.
He has great submissions too, I might add. So, and he's bless you.
Bless you.
And
man.
also, I think he's writing a book, isn't he?
He is. Yeah.
We learned about that.
And he's expecting a daughter within.
Yeah.
I mean, within weeks.
Yeah.
So great guy.
Days,
lots of kids being born.
Yeah.
There are.
All right. So here we go. I'm gonna put the glasses on for this one. We'll have to cover here. So, Aaron states that my biggest sale occurred in September of 2020 in Walker, Louisiana. You guys ever been to Walker, Louisiana?
Walker?
Been through.
Yeah, been through. Okay. All right. He states I had previously installed the customer home with a Hopper 3 system and talked to them about Nest and Polk. Just laughing at that. Okay.
I'm sorry, it was an inside joke.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
thanks.
about you.
Oh, okay.
No,
Thanks.
it wasn't.
It was not. It had no.
May I continue?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, where were you at when we rudely interrupted you? I initiated all this, by the way. I thought I may forget.
You get no more pens from me. I'll allow you.
That's a pen is a powerful weapon, sir.
It is indeed.
Did I mention our sponsors? Okay. Anyway, let me get back to this, guys. All right. So, picking up where we left off at, Aaron Caldwell. Okay, here we go. So, says naturally they declined at that point, but said they would think about it and give me a call. So this was on a Nest and Polk sale. Of course, calling back nearly never happens. That's what he states here. So, but 2 weeks later, they actually called me back and asked about the Nest items. Wow, imagine that. That's great. I met them that evening to go over the options we had, and they agreed to purchase that Saturday. I arrived with FSM Don Reyes, and they ended up buying 5 IQ outdoor cameras, 1 wired doorbell, and 1 Google Hub Max. All told, I remember it being between $2,200 to $2,500 for that sale alone. Wow. Don helped me install everything, and the customers left extremely satisfied. So he also closes here to date. I've never had one close to that, though I await the day it happens again. So optimistic, and in the future he's going to have another big sale, many big sales, I'm sure, Mr. Aaron Caldwell out of Baton Rouge.
You know, if you
Appreciate you, Aaron.
Before we get into this last one, if you think about it, if we transition over to how our compensation model works now, these are some really big paychecks for these large sales, given our current pay methodology, and you get a lot faster.
Right. Yeah.
Almost every one of these sales would have qualified for the 15%.
Absolutely.
Payout rate, and you figure $2,000 at 15%. That's big paycheck.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
Thank you, John. Sorry about the interruption.
Yeah.
It was all good. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was.
Yes.
Wait until we share with you.
Hey.
Why?
I think I know why. I think I know why.
Well, you know what? Bringing up the, we're going to close this out with Clayton Henley out of our Grenada office. Yeah. He kind of combined his day, right? Because this wasn't just one customer. First thing in the morning, he went to a trucking company, sold him a bunch of Nest cams. This is back when we paid units for cameras. So really the units on this day were the things that got him, right? The sales, were, of course, you know, back then you didn't get the units if you didn't get the sales. So ran a bunch of cables, mounted the cameras. Now, this is ironic, right? Because as a technician, I always had a rule of the pickup job. Because I'm a glass half empty kind of guy, John. I don't know if you know this. But the rule of the pickup job, right? You're on your way home. It's 4:00 in the afternoon. Your manager calls. And what does that conversation sound like, John? Hey, Todd. They get real low. Hey, Todd. We got a technician having a little trouble at a job. And we got a 4-room right after it. He's got a 4-room. He's not going to be able to get to it. Can you pick it up? And my answer, standard, was yes. Always yes. I never said no because I'm turning down a raise, right? Never turn down a job because you're turning down money. But the rule of the pickup job for me was it's always the worst customer of the day. It's always that satanic job that just you get there at 5 o'clock and at 9 o'clock you're still there because something didn't go right. For whatever, and it probably isn't the reality of the situation. There were probably 20 other times.
Yeah.
It's just, it seemed like every time I picked up a job that late in the afternoon at somebody else's request. Well, Clayton went through something very similar, right? And I'm certain that may not be unique to me, right? That last job of the day. But that day that he had such that great sale with the trucking company, you know, he's probably patting himself on the back, feeling great about that. Well, at the time, John Kirk, his FSM, asked him if he would pick up a 4-room because the other tech couldn't make it. The exact thing I explained. It made him a little bit irritable because it was going to a little over an hour away from him. It was 4 o'clock and it was a 4-room install. So that's a commitment, right? You're making a commitment. While doing the install, he did the same demo process, and around 8 o'clock he was able to sell him 4 Nest battery cams, 4 cables, finished the day with roughly 220 units, which that's payday.
Yeah,
Wow. Needless to say, he was happy he took that forward. So you never know what life holds, right?
This is true.
It's powerful. It's a powerful closing message as we come here to the end of a jam-packed and, may I add, highly entertaining episode 12.
I've enjoyed it.
And I really feel like it, you know, truly kind of felt like, you know, going around the horn here and felt like, you know, a podcast. You know, keep on advertising. We have one, right, John?
Absolutely. I mean, hey, we're getting sponsors.
We got hats.
I think at some point in time, I'm guessing that shop.suipodcast.com will be open for business. Selling the hats and the shirts and the action figures and everything else that goes with it. So,
you know, I heard we got some gear coming in to promo.
Do we?
As early as the next episode. So
I'm waiting for the SUI podcast play set. That's what I want.
See, I was thinking you were going to say the metal lunchbox. Like, you know what I mean?
I can't wait to see your action figure.
Yes.
It reminds me of you know what movie it reminds me of is Spaceballs.
Oh,
remember
great
the
movie.
Spaceballs lunchbox? The Spaceballs t-shirt.
It was John Candy. Daphne Zuniga. I think I'm pronouncing her name right.
Yeah.
And I can't think of the other guy that was in that movie, but
the Spaceballs. What? And that's the Schwartz guy, right? He's like, they got like the Spaceballs store.
Yeah.
Spaceballs the t-shirt. Spaceballs the coloring book. Spaceballs the lunchbox. Spaceballs the breakfast cereal. Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love this one.
Rick Moranis was in that.
Rick Moranis,
there we go.
They didn't call him Darth Vader. What was it?
No, I don't know what it. Something helmet.
A helmet
or something like that. That's a funny movie, man.
I guess it was a spoof off of Star Wars.
Sure, absolutely. Well, guys, you have anything? Hey, we're all set here. We are, I mean, I wish we could go, honestly, another hour and a half. We're an hour and a half in at this point. It's been, a little bit of a longer episode, but you know what? We enjoyed it. And we look forward to episode 13, when we'll be back. We'll be posing a new question, and we'll be entertaining your responses. We'll be bringing on another podcast guest. You guys have any closing messages for the team out there?
Just be safe, enjoy life, and success to all of you.
Peace. All right, we're out.